Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya classes. Today, so from today onwards, for next 5 days, we are starting a series sessions on the 5 limbs of devotional service. And today is the first limb. And we are very fortunate to hear from His Grace Premasundar Gauranga Prabhu on the first limb, that is Sadhu Sangha. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Welcome, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, if you can unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you
Krishna Prabhu Narottam
for today's session on Sadhu Sangha. And also I wish you a very happy Gaur Purnima celebration in advance. Gaur Purnima is coming tomorrow, very auspicious occasion. Appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has given us everything what we are taking advantage of in terms of devotional service. So let us begin. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadabhyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Mostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to discuss about Sadhu Sangha. So Sadhu Sangha is one of the 5 important or most important limbs of devotional service, and you are going to discuss about all the 5 limbs every day, one by one. So today we are going to begin with Sadhu Seva or Sadhu Sangha, because the whole process of devotional service it begins with Sadhu Sangha. So that is how devotional service begins. So for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there are many rules and regulations, or how devotional service has to be performed. The different limbs of devotional service, they are given in various scriptures like Hari Bhakti Vilas. So Hari Bhakti Vilas by Srila Sanatana Goswami is a big book. It has 10 volumes. It's a huge book, and it tells that how Gaudiya Vaishnavas they should live. What are the different rules and regulations? If they want to follow certain rituals, for example, a child is born or somebody leaves his body, somebody has to get married, different samskaras have to be performed, or yagyas have to be performed, how they are to be performed, what they should eat, how they should do deity worship. So it's a whole treatise. It's like a Smriti Shastra for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. But out of that huge voluminous book, Hari Bhakti Vilas, then there are 64 items of devotional service which are mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And these are the most essential items of devotional service. One may or may not be able to follow all the things which are there in Hari Bhakti Vilas. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the purports, Prabhupada writes that it is not necessary to follow everything in the Hari Bhakti Vilas as well. But yes, in those times, there were Brahmanas who would love to follow everything very scrutinizingly. And so for them, this facility has been given. Now, that is a bigger set. And the 64 items of devotional service in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's a subset of that. These are the most essential limbs of devotional service. And out of those 64, then Rupa Goswami has given 5, which is a smaller subset, which are the most essential limbs of devotional service. So these 5 are association of devotees, sadhu sangha, then chanting of the holy names, then hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing, reading, then staying in the holy dham, Mathuravas, and 5th is Archa Vigraha Seva, that is worship of the deities. So these 5 are considered as the most potent forms of devotional service. In Kali Yuga, one does not have so much capacity to do to engage into so many varied engagements, But everybody should try to do these 5 at least, whenever it is possible. For example, one may not be able to stay in the dham all the time, but one can visit the dham whenever it is possible for them. And but the most important, chanting of the holy names, reading Bhagavatam, deity worship, and sadhu sangha, everybody can do. irrespective of wherever they are situated. So let us begin with this concept of Sadhu Sangha. We'll try to understand it very nicely. What is Sadhu Sangha? So I'm going to share with you some slides here. Okay, you are able to see the share screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Sadhu Sangha, that is association of devotees. The first point is it is not just a social thing. It is ontological. What is ontological? Ontology is the study of being, our consciousness, our being. So it is a very deep subject matter. It is on the spiritual platform, on the platform of our soul. It is not only social. So in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami quotes, Yasya tat sangatiha pumso manivat sayat satad guna. What it means that a crystal, it does not argue with the color, it absorbs it. For example, if you place a diamond in front of a yellow wall, it will reflect yellow color. If you place it in front of a green wall, it will reflect a green color. Similarly, the jiva does not remain unaffected by association. The jiva is colored by association. So the association which the jiva gets, it has a very deep impact on the jiva. It is not only social. So the jiva absorbs the association and he becomes colored by it. So we all know the story of Ajamil. Ajamil, he was not born as a degraded person. He was a very disciplined, gentle, well trained in Vedic culture. And one afternoon, as he was walking in the forest, he saw a drunken man embracing a prostitute. So, this is the scene which we might see very often in today's world. And Ajamil did not speak to them, he did not join them, he only saw them. But that image, it entered into his consciousness. And then he replayed that image again and again. His consciousness fed on that image, he nurtured that image, and it started to take roots in his consciousness. And when that association started getting roots or started growing roots in his consciousness, then very soon he abandoned his wife, his vows, his dharma, his purity, and he fell down. So this did not happen in one day. But that one association, it restructured his whole destiny because he allowed that association to dwell within him. So, association is absorption, it is very deep. It is not only just socially mingling with somebody, but it has a very deep impact on our consciousness. Whether this association is good or the association is bad, whether the association is with a person directly or the association might be virtual on media, it has a very deep impact. So, further, we see that the mechanism of bondage and liberation is identical. Okay. The last word here is identical. I'll keep this window open here. The mechanism of bondage and liberation is identical. If you get good association, there is liberation. If you get bad association, there is bondage. So regarding this, the Bhagavatam third canto, it says, Sango yaha samskriter hetur asatu vihito dhiya sa eva sadhushu krito nihasangat vaya kalpate. It means that association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person, sadhu sangha, it leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. If it is performed with knowledge, definitely well and fine, it will give much more benefit. But even if it is performed without knowledge, it leads to the path of liberation. Just like Ajamil, he associated with that particular scene without knowledge. It just happened to come in front of him. But then the roots grew in his consciousness with respect to what he had seen. Similarly, even if sadhu sangha is performed without knowledge, then it will have its mechanism of liberating a person. So the same principle binds a person and the same principle liberates a person. That is Sangha. Association with Asat, it will bind us to Maya Shakti. And association with Sat, it will attract us to Swarup Shakti. We see that in Narad Muni's previous birth as the child of the maid servant, he was not born in a very exalted family, or he was not performing wonderful activities like Prahlad Maharaj since childhood. So he was a son of the maid servant, and during the Chaturmas, great devotees, they happened to stay in that place where he was staying. So he served them quietly, he listened to them, he did not debate with them unnecessarily. He did not perform austerities. It was not that he was performing great austerities. He was just absorbed in hearing what they are speaking and serving them. He was also observing what they are doing, what is their character, how they chanted, how they treated each other. So this absorption it entered into his consciousness. And when they left the Bhakti Vedantas, then the child of the maidservant, Narad, he was no longer the same child. And in that life itself, he got the darshan of Lord Narayana. So the transformation in case of Narad Muni is not intellectual. It is purely because of transmission of sadhu sangha, or what the sadhus transmitted because of their sangha. It is purely because of that. So even a person who was not very intellectual, like Narad Muni, a very simple person, if he got association of great personalities, then it leads to liberation. In the next life, he is born as son of Brahma, Narada. And if you get a wrong association, it leads to bondage, just like in case of Ajamil. So the mechanism of bondage and liberation is identical. That is Sangha. That is why Sadhu Sangha is very, very powerful. So we should always be aware that what kind of Sangha we are getting. Definitely living in this world, we are getting bad Sangha. But we should make sure that it is balanced by sadhu sangha, or the sadhu sangha aspect is more in our life. Otherwise, the scales will be uh, going towards asat. You know, it will bind us to Maya Shakti. So further, we see here. Uh, let us minimize this. What is the necessity of Satsanga, Sadhu Sangha. As we saw in the previous slide, that Sangha can be Sat or Asat. Definitely, we want Sadhu Sangha only, which is Satsanga. So, Anadi Vaimukya means what? The spirit soul is uh, turning away from Bhagavan, from eternity. We don't know how long he has turned away from Bhagavan. That state is beginningless. And that state of having turned away from Bhagavan cannot be corrected by effort alone. So one may think that, okay, I want to become a devotee, I will put so much effort, and just by that effort, I will achieve pure devotional service. Definitely, effort is required, but it not only by effort it can be achieved. Then what is to be done? Prahlad Maharaj writes, he says in the seventh canto, he's saying, Matirna Krishne Parata Sato Va Mitho Bhipadyeta Grihavratanam Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamisram Puna Punascharvita Charvananam. Because of their uncontrollable senses, persons who are too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. So, in this world, we are bombarded all the time with asat, and it makes us to repeatedly chew the chewed. We are not free from that tendency. So we have that tendency to some degree, may not be as much as gross materialistic people. So we are trying very much by our own effort to develop devotional service, and others are also trying for us, as Prahlad Maharaj is writing here, either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by combination of both. So in our life also this is happening, that we are trying to incline towards Krishna or increase our inclination towards Krishna by a combination of both, actually, by our own efforts and instructions of others. But it may not be happening as much as it should be. So then what is to be done in such a uh, condition? It looks very hopeless that even when we are getting instructions from others, we are doing so much effort, nothing is happening. So Prahlad Maharaj says that in the same section in Bhagavatam, he says, Naisham matistavad urukramanghrim sprishatyana anartho anarthapagamo yadarthaha mahiyasam padarajobhishekham nishkinchananam navrinita yavat. He says, there is one solution. Solution is that unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, that is a pure devotee. Persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way, can one be freed from material contamination. So, there is one way how, see, nobody can deny that in the modern age, in Kali Yuga, even the sadhakas, they cannot deny that they are completely free from material contamination. Everybody has some inclination towards materialistic life, some will be having little inclination, some will have more inclination according to their standard of purification which they have achieved. But everybody has some material contamination, and it can be removed only when they smear upon their bodies the dust from the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. What it means, that also we'll understand later. So definitely taking dust from lotus feet of Vaishnava in the literal sense, that is also good. But what actually is the meaning of sadhu sangha, that also we'll understand towards the end of this class. It is not only taking the dust or only touching the devotee. Sometimes the devotees are very sentimental. Oh, this Maharaj, he touched me. He touched on my head. That is very good. But Maharaj has been touching your head since last 15 years, and not much difference is seen in your advancement. So that is very good, touching on someone's head. But what is actually sadhu sangha, that also we'll see. What Acharya says. We see that Dhruva Maharaj is a very good example. Dhruva Maharaj had a lot of material desires. He wanted a kingdom bigger than Brahma's kingdom, which is not possible. That is some standard of material desire. If you want it, at least have that kind of material desire that you need a kingdom bigger than Brahma. So, but his ambition, it is transformed. So he wanted great recognition. He wanted dominance because he was frustrated with how he was treated by his father and foster mother. And when he met Narad Muni in the forest, Narad Muni did not endorse his ambitions. He had great ambitions as a kid, but Narad Muni did not endorse those ambitions, but he redirected him. So Narad Muni said, okay, you chant this mantra and you meditate on Vishnu. And through the association of Narad Muni, just a little association, Dhruva's ambition, they did not merely diminish, but completely finished off, vanquished. And so Dhruva Maharaj is performing sadhana as told by Narad Muni. And then at one point of time, after 6 months, the Lord appears there. And after seeing the Lord, Dhruva is weeping. He is saying that I was searching for broken pieces of glass, but I have found a diamond. So sadhu sangha, it does not suppress the psychology of inclination to material life, but it completely purifies it. So that's why sadhu sangha is the uh, necessity for the jiva who is anadi vaimukhya. Anadi vaimukhya. These terms are used by Jiva Goswami in his bhakti sandarbha. So this whole presentation is based on bhakti sandarbha. So anadi vaimukhya means the jiva is eternally away, is facing away from the Lord. So this is the solution for the jiva. Okay. So sadhu sangha is the solution for this jiva. Further, we see a very interesting concept that sadhu sangha is very important because bhakti arises from sadhu sangha. And bhakti arises not from any other means, only from sadhu sangha. So, Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Bhagavan does not independently inject bhakti merely because someone is suffering. So, bhakti does not arise from suffering alone. In this world, we see that so many people are suffering. So, is it that the Lord is feeling compassion because of their material suffering? He becomes saddened, emotionally saddened by seeing their material suffering, and thus because he is becoming saddened, emotionally sad, dejected. That is why he is bestowing his compassion. No, it's not like that. So Bhagwan does not give bhakti because of suffering. Bhagwan gives bhakti because of some other reason. We'll see that. In this world, everybody is suffering, but we don't see that everybody is getting bhakti, isn't it? If suffering was the cause of bhakti, then Jiva Goswami says everybody should have gotten bhakti. Everybody is suffering in this world, but we don't see it. So it means that either there are two things. One thing is that suffering does not give bhakti. This is one probability. Because in this world, everybody is suffering, but everybody is not getting bhakti. Second probability is that uh, the Supreme Lord is not able to give bhakti to everybody. The Supreme Lord, even everybody is suffering, but Supreme Lord cannot give bhakti to everybody. He can give bhakti only to few. So second option is incorrect because for the Supreme Lord, it is possible to do anything. He can give bhakti to everybody. So he can give bhakti to everybody, but we don't see everybody getting bhakti. It means that the first statement is incorrect. What was the first statement? Or the first statement is correct. What is the first statement? That suffering does not give bhakti. Okay. So Jiva Goswami says that Bhagavan is Paramanandayitika rasa. Paramanandayika rasa. Parama Ananda Eka rasa. Which means that the Supreme Lord is always uh, in Parama Ananda, spiritual, supreme spiritual bliss, Eka, that is only. So he is always absorbed in supreme spiritual bliss. He is never touched by material rasa. That is his nature. And because of that, he is not able to, he is untouched by material agitation. Apahata kalmasha. It means that he is untouched by material contamination. So because he is Parama Ananda Ekarasa, Paramananda Ekarasa, he is only absorbed in spiritual rasa, he is untouched by material agitation. So he knows what is material suffering, but he has never experienced it because material suffering cannot touch Krishna. So he knows what it is, but he is not shaken by it because he has not experienced it. So mercy, kripa, or bhakti in conditional beings arises generally when we see suffering of others. It touches our heart. But Bhagwan's heart is not wounded or shaken or destabilized by material sorrow, material feelings, material suffering. Why it is so? If Bhagwan becomes emotionally disturbed by material misery, then he will no longer be transcendental. He will become susceptible to dualities of this world: happiness, distress, joy, sorrow, cold, heat. And these dualities, dvandva, they are a result of material energy. So he will become conditioned by material qualities. Another thing is, if he is disturbed by material misery, then his bliss will be conditional. But Krishna's bliss is unconditional. His bliss does not depend on material happiness and unhappiness. Therefore, bhakti, it descends through the devotees. Bhakti does not descend through suffering. That is why we are discussing this here. bhakti descends only through sadhu sangha. Because the sadhus, they have an experience of previous suffering. Krishna does not have any experience of material suffering. But the sadhu, he has remembrance of previous suffering when they were conditioned. And so Bhagwan's grace, it manifests through the bhaktas, not through emotional agitation in him. Of course, this does not mean that Bhagwan lacks compassion, or he is indifferent, or he is emotionally very cold. It's not like that. But what it means is that his compassion is not reactive. His compassion flows through his internal energy, Swarup Shakti, and he reciprocates with bhakti of a person. He does not reciprocate with the material misery of a person. So when somebody reciprocates with bhakti, then he immediately reciprocates. Otherwise, everybody in this world has material misery. That is why Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu, na me dveshti na priya. In 9th chapter he says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu, I am equal to all. Everybody in this world is suffering. I am equal to all. But ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyam. 9.29. So those who worship me with bhakti are in me and I am in them. So although he is equal to everybody, but those who worship him in bhakti, then they are in him and he is in them. So Bhagavan reciprocates with bhakti and not with dukkha. So that is why Bhagavan is called as Sad Anugraha. Bhagavan is called as Sad Anugraha. So this is a verse from the 10th canto. Swayam samuttirya sudustaram dyuman bhavarnavam bhimam abhadra sauruda bhavat padambhoruhanavamatrate nidhaya yatah sadanugraho bhavan. So in this verse, the term sad anugraha, it comes in the last line, you can see. Sad anugraha, it means whose grace manifests through sadhus or saints. His grace does not manifest through any other means, but through the sadhus. So the verse says that, O Lord, who resemble the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee, and therefore you are known as a desire tree, Vancha Kalpataru. When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nescience, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you are very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. So, Sad Anugraha, it means that Krishna's grace, it manifests through the saints. We know the story of Mrigari. So Mrigari, he delighted in half killing the animals. And he liked it, it was fun for him as the animals, they were, uh, they were in a lot of pain and suffering, and he was enjoying watching them. And then Narad Muni saw him, he approached him. Narad Muni did not give him any lecture. Narad Muni also did not condemn his activities. So Narad Muni just gave him some very simple instructions. And just by the presence and simple instruction of Narad Muni, this Mrigari, his heart, it broke open. He threw away his bows and arrows and his sinful life. And later on, when Narad Muni approached after some time to see what his disciple is doing, he saw that he was not even stepping on ants. Earlier, he was taking pleasure in torturing animals. So, suffering, it did not reform Mrigari. He is already suffering, and he would have continued to suffer like that. He was taking, some people take pleasure in their suffering also. But it did not reform him, but the association of Narad Muni, it reformed him. So the mercy of devotees is flowing through the devotee or the sadhu. So that is why now let us understand, okay, we want association of sadhu. So much is being spoken about, you take association, sadhu, sadhu. But who is sadhu? In this world, many people are being fooled in the name of sadhus. They are taking wrong association. They are not able to ascertain who is a sadhu. So, the ontological definition of a sadhu, who is actually a sadhu? Let us see. So, Bhagavatam, third canto, 25th chapter, verses 21 to 24, Kapil Muni is describing the symptoms of a sadhu. Who is a sadhu? This is the first verse. तितिक्षव कारुणिक सुहृद सर्वदेहिनाम अजात शत्रव शांत साधव साधु भूषण. So Kapila Muni is describing many qualities of the sadhu. So here this is not the translation of the verse. This is just the gist of verses 21 to 24. That what actually is a sadhu, who actually is a sadhu. Is sadhu someone who is wearing certain types of robes, or is sadhu is a person who has become very famous on the social media, or sadhu is someone who has built a huge temple, who is actually a sadhu. So the sadhu is not externally dramatic, he is internally absorbed. So all of you can read these verses later on when you get time, 21 to 24. His consciousness rests in Bhagwan. He delights in Harikatha. He is free from ulterior motives. So one might see that somebody has a huge achievement in the field of spiritual circles, in spiritual circles. But then you'll also see that they have ulterior motives and kutinati, that means they want to somehow do anything to preserve their position or their fame. They want the credit. But that is not a sadhu. He might look like a sadhu externally. So he carries bhakti shakti in his heart. And association with such a being gradually displaces Maya Sangha. So, such kind of person is actually a sadhu. By taking their association, you feel uh, purified just by association. And you gradually, your Maya Sangha or association with external energy of the Lord is reduced just by their association. So here we see that the sadhu is these are some of the qualities. This is just of gist of these few verses here, which you can read later. Who actually is a sadhu? If you want to see, then this is the definition of sadhu. He should have these qualities. The gopis, they are the apex sadhus. Of course, in Varnashrama, they are not sadhus, but they have the qualities of sadhus. Sadhu is basically a devotee of the Lord. So when Krishna disappeared during Rasa Leela, the gopis, they did not even want liberation. They did not ask for Vaikuntha. They did not ask for peace, but they were only searching for Krishna in madness. So their absorption is so complete that even Uddhava, a great Jnani, a great master of Jnana, a disciple of Brihaspati, he prayed to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan by the association of the gopis. So gopis are not Jnanis, but by their association, the greatest of the Jnani, Uddhava, he got that taste of bhakti. What is the highest form of bhakti? So, whatever is our association, it will determine our future destination. So, external renunciation is not proper transmission of sadhu sangha, or not proper. It will not give you a proper result of sadhu sangha. We discussed this already in Kali Yuga. In the section where Parikshit Maharaj encounters Kali, this is described that Kali Yuga produces linga. Linga means the external dress. So the dress might be of a sadhu, dress might be of a king, but that sadhu may or may not be real sadhu. That king may not be having the qualities of an actual king. Just like Kali Yuga was dressed like a king, but he is not a king. Or but costume or the external appearance, it does not carry any shakti. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected so many saints who were having the costume, but they were having some duplicity. So a sadhu can be identified by exclusive shelter. He takes exclusive shelter of the Lord. He has interest in hearing Hari Katha. Sarva Sangha Vivarjana means he is away from bad association. And Karuna, he has compassion, which is rooted in bhakti. So in this way, we see that external renunciation, it is not very important. Haridas Thakur, he was beaten in 22 marketplaces, but he remained immersed in the holy name of the Lord. His absorption is real. So there were others who were just wearing the robes and they were chasing after prestige. So that is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he identified, he could identify the real sadhu. Of course, he's the Supreme Lord, but he showed by his example how to identify the real sadhu. Haridas Thakur was not dressed as a, of course, he is dressed as a mendicant, but he is not dressed like a proper sadhu because he is born in a Muslim family and he lives like a recluse. So, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told us that how to find out the real sadhu. So, Haridas Thakur is the example of that. So only when we are able to find out who is a real sadhu, then we can have real sadhu. Otherwise, we'll be cheated. So now you have found out the sadhu who is a sadhu. You have to take his sangha. Uh, so we have to understand what sadhu sangha truly is. Uh, so in the Bhagavatam here, second canto Bhagavatam, this verse comes. So in this verse, in the third line, you see Yad Adbhuta Krama Parayana Shila Shikshas Triyak Jana Apikim Ushruta Dharanate Dharanaye. The verse speaks about fallen souls, sinful people, and even they can uh, take to devotional service if they get the association of devotees. So here the word or the term Shila Shiksha. This is important. We'll see what is that Shila Shiksha. The translation of this verse, it says that the surrendered souls, even from the groups who are leading sinful lives, like women, laborer class, mountaineers, Siberians, or even the birds and beasts. So this does not mean that all of them are sinful, but generally in the world they are considered as not very advanced. That is the meaning here. So it is not labeling all of them as sinful. Why they are not very advanced? Because all these categories they cannot engage in activities like Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Women, they cannot do Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga. They cannot go to the forest. Laborers, they are not interested. Or people who live on mountains or forests, or like the birds and bees, they are not going to engage in Jnana Kanda or uh, following Ashtanga Yoga, going to forest. So the these kinds of spiritual practices they cannot do, or either they cannot do, or they are not interested in doing it. So then, but they can know about the science of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of illusory energy by surrendering unto pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service. So, Srila Shiksha, it means basically uh, Shilana. Shilana means following in the footsteps. Shiksha means the following the teachings. So, following in the footsteps, which means we follow, we observe them, how they behave, how is their nature, uh, and we try to uh, follow in their footsteps, emulate their lifestyle, their nature, and shiksha, which means that we also get teachings from them. So, teachings, practical teachings also, what to do in life, and philosophical teachings, which are going to take us away from avidya, ignorance. So, what sadhu sangha really is? Sadhu sangha is not, as we discussed earlier, that some great soul touches you. That is also sadhu sangha, very good. Or you are in the presence of a great soul, and you, when you are in the presence of the great soul, you took a photo with him. That is also good. Or sentimental reverence. Oh, I love this Maharaj. I love this sentimental reverence. So this is not real sadhu sangha. This is also sadhu sangha, but the real advantage of sadhu sangha we get by Shila Shiksha. That is, what is that? We learn their character, observe their character, observe their conduct, observe their inner disposition, and we try to follow that. That is real sadhu sangha. Then whether that person he touches you or he smiles at you, it doesn't matter. You take his shiksha and try to learn his conduct, character, disposition, and try to follow it in your life. That is actual sadhu sangha. So that is going to bring about real benefit. We see that Ravana and Vibhishana they are born in the same family, but Vibhishana is taking good association. He becomes a devotee. Ravana is all bad association, and so he is the Ravana, famous Ravana. We also see the story of Valmiki, the author of Ramayana. So he was also a robber, you know, and he became Rishi later on, again by the mercy of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, he gave him vision, he forced him to see his entanglement, and he became the composer of the greatest Itihasa Ramayana. So this is Shila Shiksha. So Valmiki, he could have said, "Oh, Narad Muni came and he gave me his blessings, and I am so fortunate," and then that's it. But he transformed his life. He took the teachings of Narad Muni and actually transformed his life. So that is called as Shila Shiksha. ये आवाज हरी बोल आवाज मत करो so so basically we saw a lot of things about Sadhu Sangha here and so many more stories can be said. The story of Nalkovera Manigriv, that how they were intoxicated and by the association of Narad Muni, although it was not a very pleasant association. So it's not that Narad Muni and came and tapped on their head and he said that, oh, very good, and I give you my blessings, not like that. So he gave them curse. But that association was also very good association. They got darshan of Krishna and they became devotees. So that's what we see that the mercy of the Lord, bhakti, it flows through the devotees, sadhu sangha. So that is the only process which can give bhakti. So the final conclusion of today's discussion. First, the jiva does not generate bhakti. We can only uh, do some activities to please Krishna, some effort from our side. Bhagwan does not bestow bhakti arbitrarily. We saw that Bhagwan does not bestow bhakti because of dukkha, suffering, but he bestows bhakti from his Swarup Shakti. And Swarup Shakti, it manifests in the heart of the pure devotee, Bhakta. And when the pure devotee is giving his association, just like in our case, we can say that, or Prabhupada himself said that he told his disciples that actually all of you are not very good candidates for bhakti, but you are doing bhakti, your bhakti is generated because of me. Prabhupada told, as a matter of fact, he told everybody. So when the pure devotees, he gives his association, then that Swarup Shakti, it also comes in the hearts of those who want to become bhaktas. That is called as sadhu sangha or sat sangha. That potency is transmitted. So the actual sadhu sangha is when potency is transmitted, potency of bhakti is transmitted. So that is called as Shila Shiksha, sincere following. So actual sadhu sangha means you follow, you try to imbibe their nature, character, internal disposition in your own life. That is actual sadhu sangha. Then the transformation will occur. Otherwise, we'll come, we'll meet so many devotees, we'll get Mahaprasad of so many devotees, we'll get blessing of so many devotees, we'll hear from so many devotees, but nothing will happen. Just like Prahlad Maharaj told in that verse, either by the instructions of others, by your own effort, or by combined effort, the devotional service does not arise in the heart. So by real sadhu sangha, shila shiksha, the real transformation will occur. Because when we try to transform ourselves by association, then purification happens. When purification happens, then raga, raga means natural attachment to the Supreme Lord, his pastimes, his devotees, his dham, it awakens. And when raga awakens, then braja, it becomes accessible, which is the goal of all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So this is the heart of Gaudiya Siddhanta regarding Sadhu Sangha. So thank you very much, and we stop here. Any questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, and you've done full justice to the topic, Prabhuji, Sadhu Sangha. And so many points were there where you actually spoke about what is Sadhu Sangha and then who is a sadhu with whom we have to do a Sangha. So many references, also wonderful class. I'd request devotees, we have to hear this again in the YouTube. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I would request devotees to share if there are any comments, questions, or inputs. We have some time.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. What is ontology, you said, Prabhu?
So ontology is a
Ontology.
science of the study of being. Being means our internal, who we are actually. So there are different studies, but as Prabhupada said that there is no study for the soul in the modern universities. So ontology is a study of one's being, who you are, how your consciousness works. So Sadhu Sangha, it works on that platform of consciousness, on the platform of the soul. Or for that matter, any type of Sangha which we take, it directly, it has the potency to penetrate our consciousness. So that's why we took the example of Ajamil there. He took bad association, and it very much affected his very being. The nature of being. It's called as on the science of one's being. That is called as ontology. So why we wrote that word there? Because when you take good or bad association, it is not only that you develop some good ethics or values, or if you take bad association, okay, you have a bad mood. No, it goes very much deep inside, and it can transform you completely. Just like Ajamil, he got transformed in a bad way, or others like Mrigari, Valmiki, they got transformed in a better way.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And one more thing, Prabhu, about sadhu, you so much. We were just superficially we're running to the temple to see. Anyway, sadhus have come, means we'll come. It's to go for association. Now we have to go deep and get to know. So much. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Correct.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. There's for the qualities of a sadhu when you mention Prabhuji, like Madashraya, Harikatha, Ruchi, and Sarvasanga Vivarjana. Last point was Karuna rooted in bhakti. Nowadays we say so many sadhus are there, and so many followers are there. How do we relate this, Prabhuji? People just flock to them, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So Karuna can manifest in the true way when he has bhakti. Because karuna or compassion, it can manifest in many ways. If you see somebody suffering, then you also get some compassion. So in this world also there are so many sadhus who are doing a lot of social service, which is a very good thing. We don't deny that it's a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. But the real karuna is to give one something eternal, which is his increase his inclination towards Krishna. That is real karuna. Otherwise, karuna can be given in so many ways. So you can give him some material benefits, or on the spiritual platform also, it may not be eternal like Krishna Bhakti or Krishna Prem, but it can be something else. So, like we see sometimes some very famous personalities today that they hold big darbars and all, and they have some small mystic powers, and they can cure the some disease or something like that. And if somebody is going through a court case, they can solve it by some mystic power. So that is also one type of sadhu. But if the karuna is rooted in bhakti, then the sadhu, he actually will see that he only wants to give bhakti to that person. Just like in case of Prabhupada. During Prabhupada's time also there were many sadhus who went to US who had some small siddhis. And they actually had siddhis, many of them. Like if you read the writings of Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, so Bhakti Tirth Maharaj had gone to some of them and he describes that actually they had some siddhis. But then they are also sadhus, they are also practitioners of some yoga system, jnana system, but it's not rooted in bhakti. So bhakti is the vastava vastu, it's the real thing. So somebody who's giving vastava vastu, first verse of Bhagavatam. So that is the most important. That is the real thing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Any other questions anybody has?
And of course, nowadays, becoming prominent is considered as a very big achievement
Yes.
since the social media has come. So, becoming famous and becoming prominent is considered as a very big achievement. Let's say that somebody has a lot of followers on the social media. Those peoples may or may not be resourceful to you, they may not help you, but still, people are just satisfied if they have following. And if they don't have that following, they are very much depressed. So I'm not speaking about sadhus, I'm speaking about principle in general. So nowadays, this concept of being prominent or being known on the social media is very, very important. So that is why we also discuss that what actually is sadhu sangha. So sadhu sangha does not mean that okay, he's a very famous person and you met him and you got sadhu sangha. Of course, that is also sadhu sangha, but the real sadhu sangha, if it has to bring about a transformation in your life, then you have to take it in a different way.
Right. Thank you so much. Prabhu. I see Neha Mataji has raised hand. You can ask a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, I want to ask, then how Krishna is called Karuna Sindhu, Daya Sindhu, uh, uh, after this discussion that Krishna doesn't bestow bhakti on that ground that we are suffering or anybody is uh, wanting that I may be a bhakta, I can be a bhakta, I want to be a bhakta. Hare Krishna.
No, no, Krishna does not give bhakti just by seeing the suffering. That is what we discussed. But Krishna gives bhakti when he sees bhakti. So if somebody wants to become a bhakta, then he immediately gives his mercy. So his bestowing mercy or bhakti is not dependent on one's material suffering. But he is still Karuna Sindhu because uh, he is the only one who is giving the opportunity to get out of this cycle of birth and death. And so then again, there is another section in Bhakti Sandarbha which discusses that bhakti, it came from bhakta or it came from Bhagwan. So it is like the proverbial question that the egg came first or the hen came first. So if you say that bhakti came from bhakta, then but the bhakta got it from Bhagwan only. But then you say that you cannot get bhakti from Bhagwan directly, you get it from bhakta. So that is also another discussion. But in one sense, we can say that bhakta has also got it from Bhagwan only. And Bhagwan has chosen a person who can perform bhakti. So anybody who has bestowed bhakti, he is actually chosen by Krishna. Prabhupada also writes about this. So if somebody develops a little desire to develop bhakti or become a devotee, then Krishna will give him mercy. And if Krishna is giving him suffering, that is also Krishna's mercy only, because of that suffering, one day he might get frustrated with material life and come to Krishna. So that is also mercy in one way. So devotee sees in that way, that whether it is suffering or it is favorable mercy, then both are mercy only.
Everything is an opportunity. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Thank you so much. Any others? Anybody else?
Krishna Prabhu, I have one doubt, Prabhu. Prabhu, while reading Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I read that Bhava Bhakti comes both from Lord Krishna and from devotees, Prabhu. And further, they have explained that Lord Krishna gives Bhava Bhakti through his glance, through his appear, like darshan and blessings like that, Prabhu. So, how can we understand this?
Uh, Bhakti is a gradual process, and the process is given by the acharyas what is to be done. And if you follow that process, then you will get bhava bhakti, prem bhakti also. So it's not that some miracle will happen one day and you will get bhava bhakti. Anybody who follows the process sincerely, he will end up getting bhava bhakti and prem bhakti. So that is explained. And prema bhakti, generally a person will get when he gets association of someone who has prema bhakti. That is also explained. So regarding Krishna's glance and all, I don't remember reading anything like that. Krishna's mercy is Krishna's glance, you can say, but I don't recall anything like that, reading like that, that Krishna glances and yes, so bhakti is given by Krishna only, whether it is prema bhakti or bhava bhakti. And there is a process to be followed. That process is followed, then he will give. Of course, one should have the greed to get bhava bhakti, then one will get it. It's not that you automatically get it. So if somebody does not want only, he never desired for it, then you will not get it. But if you desire, if you have lolyam, and also you follow a certain process, then you get it. So it's like that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams, Prabhu.
Prabhu, in the conclusions you told, no, Prabhu, the Jiva doesn't generate bhakti, Bhagavan doesn't bestow bhakti, but it resides in the Swarupa Shakti.
Yeah.
Can you just explain that little bit, Prabhu? The Swarupa Shakti is in the heart of Bhakta.
Yeah. So the bhakti is given by the Lord's internal potency, Srimati Radharani, and whatever devotional joy which we experience, even as sadhakas, we are not completely purified, but definitely some spiritual joy we experience. Not perhaps not at every moment or every day. Sometimes when you see the deities, or sometimes in a very good kirtan, or sometimes when you are in dham, you might experience. So whatever little spiritual taste we experience, it is coming from the internal potency of the Lord, Swarup Shakti. So Swarup Shakti is also internal potency, and Antaranga Shakti is also internal potency. So bhakti is manifested from the Lord's internal potency, and this internal potency is carried by a pure devotee. So through a pure devotee or his Sangha, it is transmitted to other people. So that is why Krishna says that somebody who is my devotee is not actually my devotee, but somebody who is the devotee of my devotee is my real devotee, is my real devotee. He told to who was that Ramanuja's guru? I forgot his name. who was fanning Varadraj. So he told this to him. And of course, there is a verse in Padma Purana, I think, which says this. So Kanchi Purna, he told Kanchi Purna. Kanchi Purna was fanning Varadraj. And so Varadraj told that somebody who is devotee of my devotee is my real devotee. Then Kanchi Purna, he left fanning Varadraj and he started serving Ramanuja or assisting Ramanuja. Of course, he was Ramanuja's guru, but he was assisting Ramanuja in his mission. So basically, the mercy comes from pure devotee because pure in his heart that Swarup Shakti is there and it is transmitted from there. So sometimes we see that Krishna gives his mercy directly, and mostly we see that only in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because this form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a little different form. So, but otherwise we don't see it. That if you see Bhagavatam, you don't see that somebody was an atheist and he met Krishna and suddenly become a pure devotee. So Krishna gives mercy to those who are already devotees generally. In case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is little different because he has come from for that mission only to give bhakti to those who are not even qualified. So he is special and we are fortunate to come in this age. Otherwise, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that you don't tell this message to who are not qualified. In 18th chapter, he says this. So somebody who are sinful, who don't have good karma, this message is not to be told to them. But we fortunately come in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then Prabhupada also. And that is why we are able to get this actually. So it is because of the Sadhu Sangha of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his associates, and in modern day also Mahaprabhu's associates like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Prabhupada. Because of them we are getting this. Otherwise, actually we are not qualified for Bhakti. By their mercy we are getting. So that is what it is written that Krishna gives Bhakti by Swarup Shakti, and Swarup Shakti is either it should be manifested in your heart that you have performed Bhakti in previous lives and now something little is remaining, now you got the complete mercy. That Krishna does in his incarnation in Dwapar Yuga. Otherwise, then you should be mercy case, like coming in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like all of us.
And should we pray to Radharani more, Prabhu?
Yes, we can pray to Srimati Radharani because she is the internal potency of the Lord. So she is definitely more merciful. The merciful aspect of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is actually Radharani's nature. So it is coming from Radharani, that merciful Mahavadanyaya aspect of Mahaprabhu.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Thank you, Pranam.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you please show us the Govardhan Giri? If you can.
Govardhan, okay. I can show you from the first floor now. For second floor, I think some monkeys are sitting, so I'll not go there. Okay, so any other last questions, comments? Already it's 8:30.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, just one moment. You are able to see Govardhan?
Yes, Prabhuji, Giriraj Govardhan ki jai.
So between this tree and that structure which is being built,
Prabhu.
you can see Govardhan.
Hari Hari.
Yes, Prabhu.
Behind the house.
Hari Hari
behind the
Yes,
Govinda
Prabhu.
houses which are
Giridhari
parked.
ki jai.
Thank you for showing Govardhan Prabhu. Hari Hari. Thank you for a wonderful class and
Thank you,
clarification for all
Krishna.
the questions. We have learned a lot about the Sadhu Sangha and
And
his association. Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna.
much. 100%.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll end with Vaishnava Pranams. Padidhanam Pavanem Vaishnavibhyo Anandakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Dandavad
I'll end the
Pranam.
session. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.